Hey everybody, we'll be going live here in just a few minutes, getting everything situated in the background. We got a lot to go over today. We're going to be going over, of course, a little piece of game jam. Someone went back and remodeled one of the game jams that I really enjoyed. So I'm going to scroll over that on screen. You may remember it. It is the Undying Maiden with a cool hand-drawn isometric map. And then, of course, we got to talk a little bit of the fucking greed in the industry with Games Workshop. And of course, D&D can't stay out of the fucking hate light. So we're going to be looking at a few videos on that. And then, of course, I think we're going to do some design tonight, depending on how I'm feeling towards the end of the stream. Hope you guys are all doing well. We'll kick this off here in about 8 minutes. Get yourself a drink, something to munch on. Enjoy your Friday night as we dive into a little EFP Live. All right, everybody, let's get the show on the road, shall we? Hey everybody, how are we doing today? It has been a little bit since we've done EFP Live. I've been super busy lately, working and everything else under the sun. I hope all of you guys are doing well. We have a ton to go over today. We're going to talk about Games Workshop and their infinite greed, even though I'm really enjoying Space Marine 2, different people using that for their IP. It is fantastic. And of course, more D&D drama out in tabletop land, but really, I want to talk about the greed aspect of just in general what we've been seeing in tabletop. And of course, to wash all that fucking bad taste away, we're going to do a little game design. I think we're going to work on some stuff for ETHUANTIA today, creating more monsters in the Dragonbane system. But before we do any of this, we had a submission that we looked at for Shadow Dark's Game Jam. And they've touched it up and redone it and put it back out and asked me if I'd take a look at it. And I said, yes. So I'm going to start by taking a look at that today and just kind of diving into what there is in the changes. I should probably ping them and let them know, right? That we're going to look at that as well. Why not? And we're going to go over and just kind of see what changed, what they did. I love the map they had in this. I think it's my favorite monster out of all the stuff that I've read. Super inventive. So our game plan today is we're going to go over that. We're going to watch a couple of videos. Let's start with something good, though. Let's start with the Undying Maiden, everybody. I want to take a look at what's changed in this and what they've added to it to kind of level it up a little bit. It was a really good entry. So let's get it on table here. Here we go. So they had the Undying Maiden. They had one of the same covers that I had. Why don't I record this? Nah, I'll just timestamp. This isn't going to be long. I just want to look over kind of some of the changes that they did. I should open up the old one. I don't think it's necessary. I think I'll actually know what it is. I had this art as well for my Game Jam. Undying Maiden, you can see his covers here. We talked about this before, so I'm not going to do the full review. They touched up some of the words and some of the information. Little warning, obviously, because there's some suicide in this, because this person's trying to die over and over again. They cleaned up the introduction. I remember saying that I wanted more with the tables and some of this, I think. He's got some good rumor tables with this. I don't know if those really changed at all. Let's see if we have it here. Let's see if we have the Undying Maiden in here somewhere. I do. So this is the old one. So you can already see a change in formatting. They went to the A5 widescreen, right? They went through and did this here. Yeah, a little cleanup on that stuff. Let's go to the next page, see what this looks like. So since they went to a 2-page spread, I feel like I got to zoom out. Their monsters are on the next page immediately. And this is the one where I love the gem golem that they had, which is coming up. But these are NPCs. A little different formatting. I don't think it's the same. Yeah, I don't think it's the same. So you got 1, 2, 3 here. But this one's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people on here. Okay. So you've added a few more NPCs in here, which is great for someone running it. And then random cultist generator, random tower fault goblin generator, and new backgrounds. Ooh, did the old one have all that? It did not. It had the merchant class. So he moved the merchant class, it looks like. Were those random tables at the end? They are not. Wow, they added a lot of new content to this. I love this. Random cultist generator. So name, appearance, and behavior and what they're like. Because remember, there's cultists here. Then there's the goblins that know about what's going on. Not the lady, but knows about them. I think the only thing I'm noticing is this formatting here. maybe that new backgrounds, I'd squish it down a little bit. Or I would have found something with the lowercase g's look like a capital G but small, because you run into problems when you do that. Caravan leader, sheriff, bod, vagabond, actor, street vendor, failed apprentice, storyteller, orator, cobbler, haberdasher, fishmonger, town crier, messenger. Yeah, look at all these. I added a lot of this stuff into my Breacher's doc for new ones. Some similar things. Not quite. His obviously isn't set quite as medieval as Breacher's is at its core. Mine's like Breacher meets Turn of Industry. We got a new dungeon key. Did he have a dungeon key in the last? I feel like he did. Factions, order of the table, or order of battle. So dungeon key, background again, environs, use of colors. I would have broke this up a little bit. I like that there's more here, but I would have added, I think, some bigger, like, heading 2s in here to break it up. I don't like when it's like this. Like, the Factions has one. Factions must be on a different page now. Environs and entrances. So, general descriptor on what these are. He did. He nailed the use of color. He told us about the use of color. Smart. Got an extra bullet point down here that doesn't belong. That can go away. Just minor formatting stuff, right? And then factions. Looks like he changed the font. This is a bold faction one here before. Yeah, AW, I'm going to be talking about that in a little bit. Some new factions. Battle tactics. The Gem Golem is my fave. I love this monster. Nice cleanup on those pages. Giving us extra data revisiting this. Good job, man. Good job. And Towerfall, the different goblins, different cultists. And then the old one, our monsters were just this page. Yeah, he added a lot. Much cleaner. Gave us page numbers for stuff. Much cleaner. And this baby here, man, I'm using this in the game. This is happening. This Gem Golem is too good not to use. Like, hands down, one of the most inventive monsters. The Absorbed Treasure is so cool. He's got some deeper caves. Don't need to prepare a map for deeper caverns. If you want to have a map, want to use it, plug that in. Yeah, I feel the same way. Here's the other little piece I saw that needs to be fixed. He needs to chop some words out of here to make it fit. Or this needs to go down a row. And he would have had the space. Counter table, is that the same? Skeletons. No, he cleaned this up too. Much easier to read. Better font work. He highlighted or he bolded the things that were important action pieces. I love that there's the different colors, so as things get more dangerous. And if we go over to here, he cleaned up this map too. Look at this. So you can tell he kind of redrew some of the lines, cleaned it up. He labeled things a little more. He gave it like a cool little highlighted section for entries, random encounters. This is solid. And then this is the underground area. Really cool. This is a long dungeon crawl, though. He gave them like a 3-tiered set piece of fun things to do. I feel like he kind of knocked it out of the park. We got new spells and gear. Curse, Buffoon's Curse, Curse of the Fallen, the Jagged Curse. Can cast by 10 cultists at the same time. A single creature is cursed to die every lunar month. Woo! Yeah, he's texting me right now. Extra punctuation of bullet points. He added a lot to this. This is really good. I dig this. This creature cursed to die every lunar month. So this is a description of how it's happening. That's so smart. This is really tidy, really good. 10-page adventure instead. He's kind of blown it up, made it bigger. Oh, he's got the Towerfall loot tables are highlighted by the difficulty in areas you're in. Sorry, not difficulty, areas you are in. That's really cool. Huh. That's super nice. Some of these ones that are a little tight and small, I think I would have just cut down and used some abbreviations for stuff there that makes sense. But then you have like this here, which is really large for some reason. It's just some table editing. I love that you gave us a Towerfall loot table. I love the spells and the new items. Book of the Witchward Glyphs. Honestly, like if I'm running an adventure and there are magical items that are key to the adventure I'm about to run, and the GM gives me that, or the designer gives me that to run, I am so more likely to hand them out and make sure I use them, especially like the new spells and stuff. I love new spells for an adventure. It just makes it feel unified, and like it makes it feel like it's a cohesive story. Super cool. Super good stuff, actually. Let's see what else we got. What else was added? I'm kind of going back and forth between the two. So this is the boons and unique item. And I think up here, that was this section here. So we got a whole page for this now. The Dying Maiden, the Living Maiden, Tasha Freed, Lovers Reunite, a little XP. I like the XP bonuses there. It gives the GM a guideline of what they should be using for it. Obviously, you don't have to use it. You can make up your own XP, but I do like that they are there to kind of give an idea of value. Goblins Give Mercy, 0 XP. And then Death's Unending. And then there's the death table. I remember him mentioning that this was the hardest part. Making a bunch of deaths. 100 deaths is hard. This is the woman who wants to die over and over again. You're trying to find 100 deaths. I probably would fade that background image a little bit more because it cuts into the body text too much. I do like it being back there, but I would just fade it just a touch more. Put it at maybe like 20%. You don't need a lot for the image to show. Some good ones on here. I'm going to roll a D100. I'm curious. Audience, roll me a D100 too. Let's see what death we get. It's exclamation point D100. I got a 9. Eaten alive by a bear. 77. Asphyxiation by vomit. What? That's a horrible way to go. Got to put a 1 in front of it. That's a horrible way to go. 43. Got to put that 1. 1D100. Like this. 1D100. Like that, which was a 16. 16. A nod by rats. 77 for you too. That's the asphyxiation by vomit. Giant bot flies is 78. This is great for the way she dies, especially if like they played over a couple of days, or like there's a random rumor of how she was found. 2 classes. Look at you. You even got to cram those Witch Hunter titles in there. 1 random magical item. I would say up here in this talent section, I would definitely put something like, if you roll 2, roll again, because you shouldn't be able to do it more than once. Random magical item. That's up to me. This seems a little powerful because 12 and 2s. Up to you, though. Oh, you got to re-roll again 1, which is cast from scrolls as part of your theocratic casting. Okay, see, because you only get that ability once. So I guess the magical item aren't that bad. Yeah, new death each month. Yeah, that's great, Logan. I like that a lot. I think for this, too, this Witch Hunter titles piece, I wonder if there's a way you could fit it in here and not have it cross that break point. Cross the gutter. I'm looking. I mean, honestly, boy, I don't know. Maybe if this was smaller, you might be able to cram it. I like the art. It's hard to get in there. I get what you're trying. You want it there for him because you you give it for the merchant over here, so you want it there. I feel you. Feel you. The only things I noticed that were big out of this is when you go up here. Yeah, hell of a time fitting it. I know. I feel you. This here, I would go back through and clean up some of these. But I love the color-coded table. What else did I notice that was off? I love the new map. I like the little identity markers and location markers. It needs, so because you have a font that has really long J's and long G's, I would reduce the size of these so that they fit. You really notice it in the backgrounds table. Like here, you had to shrink it to put adaptive counter table in. But if you scroll up here, it cuts background too. So I would maybe look at reducing all of those headings just a touch so that your G and stuff can fit. Or, as shitty as it sounds, find a G that's lowercase in the lowercase font. Or take this G, get it down to the right size, and put it there if you really want to keep that font. That's just some nitpicky shit. I love the new tables. You have an extra dot here at the bottom of page 5. I love that you're teaching color-coded. I would do this in a call-out box. I put a call-out behind use of colors. It's very important. And it also break up this word salad on the dungeon key. You added more NPCs, which is fucking great. This is solid. This is really solid. Good fucking improvements. Like, this is a good piece, man. I love the map. This is something I will run at a con. I'm going to print this and take it with me to Gamehole Con as a one I will run while I'm there. Yeah. Yeah, you can move the lowercase g up, but I would just replace it with a cap G at a different font size. I know it's tedious. I would do the same thing for your J that's down here. Where was it at? You had something that was a J. Jagged. I do it here too. As you can see, it kind of goes down and below. Those are just nitpicky things, but it's that little extra level of like final, icing on the cake. But good piece, man. Like you came back and fucking added a lot to this. Like a lot. You should be proud of this. This is a solid adventure. And again, a gem golem is going to be made into an arsenal that I will use constantly because I love me. So that monster is by far one of the best. And like I said before you got here, the fact that you added the ritual spell. Where's that at? Where's my ritual spell? You added the ritual spell that they cast. Where's it at? It's 12 right here. The Jagged Curse. The 10 cultist thing. That's super cool. Super cool. I dig that a lot. I would find a way, personally. This is me. Find a way to move this. Make it fit. Shorten this. Take this. Cut this down to one paragraph. That's what I would do. You got one paragraph on the other side. Cut that thing down to one paragraph, and then you can fit it. That would be my advice. I know it sucks to do that, but it can always be less wordy. Always. I mean, if it's on a print on demand, it depends if you're going to go through a printing market, if you're going to print it yourself. I would use Mix'em if I was going to sell it, like print some of my own and sell it. They do really good print jobs. You have to go through and fit their format. If you're just going to sell the zine, go through hyperlink everything. That's what I would do. And then sell it as a zine, as that final touch. Yeah, if I could sell it for that, it would be great. Speaking of selling things for fucking greed. Whoo! We got to talk. We got to talk a little bit here. So, I'm a big Games Workshop fan. I shouldn't say that. I'm saying that wrong. I'm going to record this. I have a feeling I'm going to get spicy. There are some. I would do more. I would do more. Before I get spicy here, everybody. Before I record, I want to make note of something here. So there is something else. There is another game jam going on right now. I want everyone to kind of know this is going on for those who are interested. There is the Knave 2.2 second edition, 2.0 second edition going on. There are 390 something entries, people who've signed up, but there's only 3 entries so far. Right? So this is something that is going on if you're interested in joining in on this game jam. If you are. I think it's cool. Oh, did I mess this up? Let me scroll this a little more. Let me hit my button. Done. Okay. I think that it's awesome that we're getting a Knave game jam. I don't know if I'm going to have time to enter it with everything going on for GameholeCon, but I wanted other people to be aware of it if they're entering. I don't know if, Logan, if you're going to enter this at all. There you go. For those who are interested. But there's only 3 in so far. Lots of entries. I think this last week coming up, we're going to see a lot more things coming out. I got to see Advance of Gristle and Vine. The gentleman who's doing that is moving. So he's just kind of showing what he put together in 2 weeks, which is Cree that was on when we were doing all the reviews. But if you want to check his stuff out, he's over in the Shadow Dark Discord. He's been showing things off there. But we're talking about greed. And we have 2 videos to watch. One specific one that we're going to be watching today. This is from Warhammer Man Studios. We're going to go over this. I am going to record this part and go over it because this is... This is weird. This is weird. This is greed. I don't know if there is a free version of it. That I don't know. So... how do I want to start this? I'm recording this one. I'm going to start recording it now and put the ad up and grab a song. Hey everybody, today we're going to talk about just greed in the tabletop industry. The green is up, the money is flowing. I don't agree with a lot what's going on. I was super excited because I've been playing Space Marines 2 and it is fucking amazing. I enjoy it infinitely. And I'm not even going to talk about the drama going on with the video game because this is more of a tabletop channel. Doesn't mean I don't do some video game stuff, but you know, not frequently. But Games Workshop crosses that. And they're putting out a new kill team. And I think kill team has always been a great way to like take your favorite models from the 40K universe and make teams and go play. And I love that people could do that. And it was cost effective. And there's a few gentlemen out there who have made some really cool, like 2-player games for under $100. There's a guy out here in Wisconsin who does some really good videos on Games Workshop. But it is, it's sad to see what Games Workshop is doing. Someone did a really good breakdown, and I was going to go through and do my own breakdown and cut down, like, where they spent their money, what is going on, why it is so expensive, all that shit, right? But I decided instead that I would watch this video with you guys, because it's pretty short, and go over pricing. And I know there's a lot of people who played 40K at some point in time in their life, right? So let's take a look at this, dive in, and I'll give you some options of what I would say to do coming out of this. But I don't think I'm going to be involved. I didn't play the last kill team, and this one, this is just rubbing me all the wrong way. So sad. All right, let's mute the music. So this here is from Warhammer Man Studios. He's going to do a good breakdown, but before we do that, I highly recommend I love Uncle Adam, as we all call him. He is a native in Wisconsin. He has a good breakdown for 2-player miniature games at under $100. He also has a game studio. He makes stuff. This guy is an OG, and I adore his work, and I really like his channel when he does. Tabletop Minions is fantastic, but this is what we're going to look over. It's only 10 minutes. I want to kind of break it down and go over it. I'm just not happy with this shit, man. I'll turn the volume up a touch.
Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're talking about...
Should be able to hear me over this pretty well.
Insane new prices. This video is sponsored by...
Let's just start here. The way this works now is you kill team. This is the Mandrakes. This is one army box that you can buy, and the cards that are required. The Mandrakes are $80, and the cards are $33. It's $113 for this group. They retired a bunch of armies that you can't play in this format, because when they retire them, then you have to go buy a new one. Instead of using the, if you play 40K, you have tons of gray plastic soldiers in your house, and you can make one if they gave you rules, but they didn't do that this time. And last time too, they didn't. But the price range is ridiculous.
So you got the official prices for the Kill Team Hivestorm set, and then also the reboxing of all of the Kill Teams so far. We also have the release for the new data card sets, and I gotta say, this is absolutely insane.
Scandalous is correct.
Has basically just doubled their prices for the Kill Team boxes.
Times two.
They have officially revealed the prices for the data sheet cards, and they are $33 per set. And honestly, this is absolutely insane. I was expecting them to do something around like 20 or 25 bucks. I was very reluctant to think that they were going to try to lean in on the 35.
The cost of printing has not gone up that much in the 3 years that it has been since they made the last edition. It's only been 3 years. I think he'll even talk about it in this, but like that's super fast turnaround. Imagine the tabletop scene if we got new books every 3 years, we'd be fucking livid.
$5 price point that we see for like the big 40K and big SIG card decks, but here they are, $33 per set per kill.
Ridiculous.
Team. And this is absolutely shameful.
This is even the worst part.
You're supposed to be able to pick up Kill Team, get started with the new little skirmish game with only a handful of models. As a
good luck.
Bridge into the hobby, into the gaming, is just absolutely destroyed by prices.
You don't hear
like
it?
This. And when I say that they have doubled their prices, I'm going to actually break it down for you. So the Kill Team
it's coming through. Turn it up. Is that better?
Had 2 Kill Teams inside, 2 sets of cards,
there you go.
and then also 2 sets of tokens. And then you also get a decent little bit of terrain.
Is that better, boys?
Sometimes it was one big piece. Sometimes it was a few like smaller pieces. But the total price on those was $145 for that box set. So here we have the new Mandrakes box with the data cards. Now keep in mind, some of
is it better now?
Priced at $65. Some are priced as high as $80. But all of the data cards for the teams are $33.
There you go.
So if we total up, for instance, the Mandrakes plus the data cards, it's $113.
I like to keep it under yellow for you guys, because I usually speak in the yellow.
Was the Nemesis Claw, the Night Lords, and that box is now $75. And then, of course, one large, nice piece of terrain as well. So if we total up the 2 teams, the data cards, the token sheets, that comes out to $221 with Games Workshop's new prices. And then we can presume that they would release that terrain piece individually for sale for somewhere around like 60 or 65 bucks. So that's about $286.
No problem.
And that previous expansion Kill Team box that came out, including all of that stuff, was $145. And that was...
So previous Kill Team 3 years ago with the book, the armies, the 2 Kill Teams, the terrain, $145. And this is, like, I think it ends up being like $260.
After their recent price increase. So it was $145 to get all that stuff.
$145.
And now it is $286.
$286.
So $4 short of double the price. And I got to say, honestly, it's just out of control. Now, obviously, there is some benefit and savings to picking up a box set that has multiple things inside. You always get some kind of discount, somewhere around like 25 to 33%. But the idea that basically nothing has changed since then, they're essentially just re-releasing all of the new components. Maybe there's some minor rules changes on the actual cards themselves. But in the last couple of months, prices really haven't gone up that much in the real world to manufacture, produce, ship.
Actually, not in the last 3 years.
So to me, it's absolutely crazy that Games Workshop is basically just doubling their prices. And in my opinion, this is them full on exploiting people that are interested in Kill Team. And to tell you the truth, I think this is going to completely fail. I think the new prices for the data cards,
Nick.
I think the overall new prices for the Kill Teams, and just in general, the amount of money that it costs to play has just gone through the roof. And I think a lot of the reason Games Workshop thinks they're going to be able to pull this off is because they have completely distorted numbers on just...
And not only distorted numbers, what this guy says here in the comment, this happens every time. These cards will be fucking outdated as soon as you rip the plastic off. Because they'll go through a round of fucking play tests and they'll hear from all the audience. And then all this shit won't work. And then you'll be online printing your own fucking cards to put back in the goddamn sleeves. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Why?
how popular Kill Team
Let's
is.
make a fucking
Because in their
digital
minds,
app.
They think it's extremely popular
at this point, if
because
you're gonna
all of
change them, at least the updates
expansion boxes
are
have been
included.
selling out like crazy. But in all reality, the reason they've been selling out is not because Kill Team is particularly popular or growing in popularity, but rather because they've been essentially releasing the Kill Team miniatures far in advance of the individual kits.
Yeah.
And people that are playing Warhammer 40K have been after those miniatures to put in their 40K armies. So while Warhammer 40K...
So like, look here, for example, I think, let's go to Games Workshop here. So Games Workshop, they announced their new prices. Yeah, sure, English. They announced their new prices. The Skaven's on here. I don't even see it on here. Is it going to be in... Boy, I'm just going to put Kill Team. See if they have the new box. They don't even have the new box on here yet. So the Night Lords, there's a new Night Lords box coming out. It's not in here. Kill Team, Hive, release, prices. See if we can find it here. I think Lost Bells hit it off. Yeah, here we go. So he's talking about this just to give clarity on what there is. This is the Kill Team Hive Stoner box. This is what comes inside. This is the train. The train's gorgeous. Don't get me wrong. This is really nice. They do a really good job, right? It's a good piece. Everyone's been waiting for these sculpts to come back out. Those are new. These are new. They look great. They have a hardback core book for this, which is, it's like 60 to 80 pages, I think. It's 230 is what they've lowered the price to, which is still insane versus the 145 that it was. This is obviously not our price. This one is in the US. You get some token chits to put down. This is your scatter terrain. Your approved ops card deck. Like, we don't know how to make our own fucking ops. And then on top of this, this is where I think it starts getting a little shitty. Like, how do you expect people to pay 80 for this, 33 for the card deck? Like, so the Nemesis clause here, everyone's going to want these for the 40K army. Everyone's going to want this for the 40K armor. And this is a jump pack based, I guess, version of Kill Team. So everyone's got jump packers. Everyone's going to want the Scout Squad. When you get down, though, everyone's going to want one thing in particular, and it's going to be the Night Lords. This is something that everybody has been looking for, is Night Lord models. And that means every 40K player is going to buy this up, which skews the view that Kill Team is going great. So they're making these prices as high as they can. Now, I don't know what their actual fucking reason is for it, but 245 to 285 for the price of a box that was 145 3 years ago with the same amount of product in it is fucking bullshit.
Is definitely growing in popularity. We're seeing more players than ever, more competitive players, more casual players.
Halberd 30K. 30K is the better one.
This has not been transferring over to Kill Team. As a
getting
matter of
sculpts
fact,
and
we've
shit,
gone
man.
from essentially having like Kill Team be extremely popular, playing it on the regular, to essentially like being a dead game.
Yep.
Now part of that has to do with the rules bloat.
I go to a lot of
miniature part of it
stores,
has to do with the price creep. But overall, Kill Team is not nearly as popular as it was a couple of years ago. And with the new edition, I'm sure it's going to pick up some steam again. I'm actually super excited for the new edition. But I honestly think that Games Workshop is taking into account all of their data for how quickly Kill Team's been selling out, how popular the actual sets have been, and that they are incorrectly seeing this as Kill Team surging in popularity and excitement. And now they're taking advantage of it by massively increasing the prices. And I think this strategy is going to completely fail. I think a ton of people are completely disenfranchised by the changes that have been made to Kill Team as far as the pricing is concerned. Tons of people have completely left the game and lost interest because of the lack of availability.
So it goes into a breakdown here.
The Workshop products, including Warhammer 40,000, Age of
Sigmar. Here we go. This is what I wanted.
And about 34 cards. So the Mandrakes, $3 data cards. So 108.
So this is the group I want to play. Maybe $77, $75, 33, 108. That's not even buying the core box. So that means that you're going to be doing 108 plus the 245 to 285, depending on what the final price ends up being. I think 245 is the estimate. I think 285 is what the store was saying before discount. So you're going to be over $300 and something to buy this game. You could buy most of your fucking 40K army
to play them. And also keep in mind that when
it's so stupid.
Teams, they're not even selling the individual models by
and they discontinue groups, which is dumb.
Out there, this is likely going to be the only option you have to get a hold of the Night Lords kit or the Mandrakes kit.
Yep.
And while it is cool that it includes those tokens, if you're after them for 40K,
you don't give a shit about tokens
because they're only made for Kill Team.
Yeah.
So which one is it? It's either super expensive to put these extra tokens in the box sets, and that's why it's costing extra for these kits.
Yeah, those plastic tokens are super expensive.
And that's why they just throw them in these boxes because it costs them basically nothing.
It's melted sprue plastic.
Kits are going up in prices. Next, we have the Commandos box set. $70
so you can see
for that and $33 for the data. Let's be real. The majority of the people
right here
Scouts are picking them up for 40K.
40K.
And again, I think Games Workshop is completely wrong about the popularity of Kill Team and why this is a popular team.
So this keeps going.
And again, it's costing.
And keeps breaking them down. And then at the end here.
Absolutely ridiculous, in my opinion. I think Games Workshop has completely lost the script. I think this is going to completely backfire, and we're going to see less demand, less excitement, and an overall flop for Kill Team. Now, I'm not.
A lot of my friends stopped playing this, and they went back to playing Age of Sigmar, which is like fantasy, because they can play it and do Spearhead format, which is like their Kill Team. And I guess it's really good. I have that craving for 40K because I'm playing so much Space Marine. And every time I come back to do something with this company, they've just dropped the ball or fucking beamed you in the face. I just don't understand how you shit on your fans constantly like it's just a fucking Wendy's soft serve. But you're not willing to like look at the audience and realize that you're making them spend this much money for a boutique game that gets a couple months of play and gets put away because you can't even build your own lists in this. You have to buy these predetermined ones. Like you can't go to your 40K army if you played Space Marines, you played Space Smurfs. You couldn't grab Ultramarines and then bring your Ultramarines to the table and do this. It's its own list. Like, what the fuck are you doing? There are people out there that are 3D printing your shit because your cost is too fucking high. And that's not even including how they cut up a model. If anyone here has built a model from anything in the 40K or Age of Sigmar line in the last couple of years, they are cut apart like jigsawed puzzle pieces so you can't build your own. They don't want you to kit bash anymore either. Like, all of this is just a level of fucking greed that it's fucking disgusting. And it's really fucking annoying. You have fans, and right now, just saying, Space Marines 2 is crushing right now. With its fandom, instead of doing the right thing and like Affinity did when Adobe fucked up, put your shit on sale, you're jacking your price up almost 200%? Like double? Like, what are you doing? This isn't good for the hobby. This isn't good for anyone but someone's pocket somewhere. It just feels bad. It feels bad. I'll tell you what, man. I'm just gonna go find a bunch of fucking metal sculpts from like the 80s. Put those bitches together and pin them for the same thing whenever the Night Lords are first. I'll just get some old ass shit, some Ralpartha stuff nobody wants. I'll paint them up and make them look gorgeous. I used to compete doing this shit. But I'm not going to buy a $250 two-player board game because you think you can get away with it so your 40K players will buy all your expansions. It's just dumb. It's just, don't support this. If you're watching this live, stick around. If you're watching this recorded one afterwards, leave your comment down below. Like, what other games do you play? The gentleman over from Adam from Tabletop Minions gave a shit ton of two-player games that are great. I'll link his down below. You can see his video. Maybe I'll even link it in mine. He does a great job, this gentleman here, of giving you other things to play. And I highly recommend watching it because there's some great two-player stuff in there, some really good mech things. And of course, my favorite, Judge Dredd's in there. So take a look at that and let me know what you play when people at Games Workshop and D&D decide that money is more important than their fans. So I know what I do. I find a different fucking game. All right, so stop recording that one so I can edit it. Ridiculous pricing, right, everybody? Like, that is fucking dumb. This is dumb. This is so stupid. This whole thing is stupid.
No way that I'm going to be picking our local friendly games.
Let me grab this and put this in a note so I can add it in the video afterwards. But like, I just don't understand how they think that this is a smart play. Video links for the show. It's just painful. What's this guy's? What's his group? Warhammer Man Studios. Warhammer Man Studios, and they're known for like throwing out fucking lawsuits and shit. Like, they're not a good company. But they're really, really not. But they make great stuff, and that's why everybody is always so into it. It just pains me. There are a lot of other good games out there. The problem with this, just like when you're playing D&D, is if everybody is playing one game, everybody, that's where your audience is. You know what I mean? That's where everyone, like, you go in there to get a game and everyone's like, oh, I'm not playing that today. I didn't bring my stuff. I have my 40K stuff. And I get that companies need to make money. I just don't think they need to be doing that shit. Like, when he talks about it, I think he's got a list here. Steel Rift Quick Start, Halo Flashpoint, Battletech Alpha Strike, this Quars War. By the way, the models for this are so fun. Relic Blade, which I'm interested in Relic Blade, to be honest. I Am the Law Judge Dredd, which is a different one. Like, look at this. Let me go check out these. They're anteaters. They've been in constant war forever, and they're these little anteater creatures. They're so dope looking. It's got like a World War I vibe, but they're fucking anteaters. I don't know. I find that hella entertaining. What did you say, Nick? Battletech is my go-to minigame. Tiffany says, yeah, I like Battletech a lot too. Battletech is good shit, especially with the new launch. They crushed it. What's this? Never really got into miniature war games simply because of the cost associated with it. But then again, lost their money at TTRPGs like crazy now. Thanks, OGL debacle. It's true. You're trying to find your new home, man. You know what moving's like. It sucks. So he breaks it down really well and goes through a lot of stuff. He's a good dude. Then we got something else to talk about. Thanks again to Tabletop, Warhammer Man Studios for breaking this down. Like, he does a really good job of
and just
telling everybody what's up. Because nobody was doing the breakdown. But now we're in a Drama Land 2. I haven't watched this yet. I don't know what we're gonna get into. I haven't watched it. I agree with most of what Dungeon Craft does. I'm sure there'll be a little clickbaity. Don't know exactly what it's gonna be, but I feel like this drama is going to be AI related. That's my guess. Okay? So let's set up the recording for this one. Let's get the add-on screen back on me. All right, everybody. Get music started. 3, 2, 1. Oh, everybody. Why does D&D have to keep doing this? Let's take a look at Dungeon Craft today. I don't know what this new Drama Llama Ding Dong is, but I'm assuming it's AI. That's my guess. I don't know. I just know that's been the point of contention most of the time.
Let's
take a look.
Sponsored by
I love this. I love that he does this.
Among the dead.
Pirate Board, baby. I'm going to be reviewing this soon. Good chance this is going to be my next show. Also, great layout. For all my layout fans in the audience. I'll take some fucking metal pirate music. Let's go. Ooh, sexy. Great video.
Hasbro CEO Chris Cox just told a Goldman Sachs conference that he wants more AI in D&D. Do you want a video about it? 81% Hasbro CEO wants more AI in D&D. We explore today on Dungeon Craft.
GMs are going to get replaced. I remember when that ad came out.
Subscribe, hit the bell icon.
Trying to hire
Sign
people.
up for the Deathbringer RPG newsletter below.
Welcome to
We're gonna
Dungeon
get
Craft.
fucked
I'm
on this
Professor
one.
DM, and his channel's about all things role-playing games. And if that's what you're into, you want to like and subscribe to the channel. This is a viewer's choice. I put up a poll on YouTube, and this is the video you selected. If you
That's the one you selected?
want more hard game content, I got the Ultimate Game Master Screen Dungeon Edition coming up next week.
Dude, his GM screen, his Lazy Susan, gave me the idea for doing my corpse talk at conventions, where I have like a huge stand and a Lazy Susan, and we play corpse talk together. Oh. So I'm curious to see what this
Week,
is.
so tune in for that. Let's get into it. So this is according to
Hey, I'm
EN
drinking from a
World.
Hydro
Cover,
74.
Hasbro
I would like to say it
Chris
says
Cox
D&D.
talks about AI usage
It's
in
Hydro. That's all I care
D&D
about.
at a Goldman Sachs event. Hasbro CEO Chris Cox is convinced Dungeons & Dragons will support some sort of AI usage in the future. Speaking today at a Goldman Sachs event, Cox spoke about how AI products could soon support Dungeons & Dragons and other Hasbro brands. Context there, let's click on that. The Goldman Sachs event was called Communicopia Plus Technology Conference, and Hasbro was invited to give a talk at this conference. So that's the context. Asked about whether AI has the potential to bend the cost curve. And
I personally don't have a problem with AI at all, actually. I think it's a great tool. I think it can do some really amazing things. I think it can take away some of the minutia of a job and let people have better jobs if it's planned around and used that way versus being used as a scapegoat for ease of completion. I do think it's a great double checker to make sure that things that you may have done in coding and writing are correct. I think it's a great thing to use as a sounding board and bounce ideas off of during the beginning of design processes. I even think for art, it's great to make pieces of art to help an art team understand the style and feel of what you're looking for, because you can tell it the style of art you want and take all the art from your studio. And this is a true thing that I've seen in practice in the studio. They take all the concept sketches of what they have. They have this person do, I think it's like 100 concept sketches over the course. Like Gears of War, for example, would be a good way to do it with, because they've had a long franchise. They put it all into an AI learning. And with the AI learning, it is able to pump out that style so that people can have reference material for whatever you need in that style. And then the artist goes back and they do all the final versions of it. But it lets the creative director speak to the artist in a visual language, and it cuts time down because they're taking their database of art that they've already made. I'm not talking about skimming people's art. I'm talking about smart usage of stuff that your company's already done. And then if you're a third-party publisher or a small publisher for Tabletop, I think it serves a good purpose as well. I don't think you should publish with AI art unless you are brand new or you say it's in there and your price shows that it's in there. But I don't think it's as bad as it has to be. You know what I mean? I don't think it's bad. See ya, bud. Yeah, I know, Blake. I'll miss you too, man. Don't worry, there's a mushroom taking over for you. So I don't think it has to be that bad. I really don't. Anyway, back to the video and the recording here. Let's get this together.
Of entertainment development or digital gaming and how it's being used in the content industries, Cox said the following. Inside of development, we've already been using AI.
We know.
It's mostly machine learning based AI or proprietary AI as opposed to a ChatGPT approach. I'm given to understand machine learning is AI, that AI is just like
sort of
for that. What he seems to be indicating
there's different
is
versions of AI.
They're using AI, but not ChatGPT. They have their own proprietary AI, whatever that means.
Well, hold on. That means they have the model that is used by OpenAI, and they're probably taking that model and teaching that model to do what they want it to do. I do the same thing when I am using Mem. I can go to my Shadow Dark, right? I can go to my Shadow Dark here and then look up my Breachers in Shadow Dark. And then over here, I can type in, give me ideas for things. And it can give me ideas and I can go through and make my version of it. But I can have it reference my piece. I can tell it, can you look through and tell me about Zatatal? And it will do that because it's my information. It's pulling from a bunch of mems or files that I have created, and it's pulling data from those.
We'll deploy it significantly and liberally internally as both a knowledge worker aid and as a development aid. That means they're already doing it internally and you're not going to see it because it's internal. You're only going to see the back end. As a knowledge worker aid, to me, that means they use it to dig for information about stat blocks, monsters, lore. He goes on to say, I'm probably more excited, though, about the playful elements of AI. If you look at a typical D&D player, I play with about 30 to 40 people regularly. There's not a single person who doesn't use AI somehow for either campaign development or character development or story ideas. We need to do it carefully. We need to do it responsibly. We need to make sure we pay creators for their work, and we need to make sure we're clear when something is AI generated. Here it looks like he's covering his bases, right? He wants to say we are using AI to the investors, but at the same time assuage fears that it's going to replace creatives. He goes on to say, but the themes around using AI to enable user-generated content, using AI to streamline new...
Oh, it scares me that if we, let's just say they have an AI in D&D Beyond, and we start creating things under D&D Beyond, or whatever their fucking program is called. Adventures, magical items, spells, feats, classes... And if we made it and we touched that at all, and it's any part of it touched the AI generative part, their AI, whatever it is, that they're going to be able to take that stuff and use it to make money on it. I can see this happening.
Player introduction.
I'm not saying they're saying that.
For emergent storytelling.
I can see it.
I think you're going to see that not just in hardcore brands like D&D, but also multiple of our brands. Hoffer writes,
I feel like they
the Coast representative
lost the note.
Said D&D is a game made by people for people, as multiple AI controversies have surrounded the brand and its parent company. Wizards updated its freelance contracts to explicitly prohibit the use of AI and has pulled down AI-generated artwork that was submitted to Big B Presents Glory of the Giants in 2023 after they learned it was made using AI tools. So I did some digging, and Cox said back in March, quote, I use AI in building out my D&D campaigns.
Sure,
I play D&D 3 or 4 times a month with my friends. I'm horrible at art. I don't commercialize anything I do. It doesn't have anything to do with the work. But what I'm able to accomplish with the Bing image or talking to ChatGPT, it really delights my middle-aged friends when I do a Roll20 campaign or a D&D Beyond campaign, and I put some PowerPoints together on a TV and call it an interactive map. So this is back in March, and he's saying that
Neverwinter Nights.
And ChatGPT.
I enjoyed running games in Neverwinter Nights. That was just because it was something new.
I think he would have been using them back then. If such things exist, they're still in the exploratory and conceptual stage.
Like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. Thank you.
It seems to be they're using AI on the back end to develop their stuff.
I think that background's painted.
Doesn't really surprise me. I have the Dungeon Craft Facebook group, and people have shared their campaigns and dungeons that have been created or enhanced.
He's not commercializing it, but we have to remember, you know, when like you said, AW, he isn't commercializing it. But the problem with the AI art sphere is we don't know what it scraped from the internet or where it came from. And that a lot of the artists that are out there are upset because every time we use it, it just scrapes more stuff. But art has been reused for ages and ages for things, and there are really good free use sites out there and things like that. He's doing his home campaign. I don't give a fuck what he does in the privacy of his own home. That shouldn't have even had been part of this conversation. That doesn't talk him taking his personal life, injecting it into a business situation. And granted, he went back to March, I think he said, and pulled this piece about him using it. He may have those thoughts, but it's not directly Wizards of the Coast. So I only want to know exactly what Wizards of the Coast is doing. I don't want to know the rest.
using AI. You ask ChatGPT, hey, create a half-sunken swamp temple populated with lizard men, and it'll do it for you. So that may be the type of thing that they are
Who knows?
Using it for. Using it internally as a knowledge worker aid, that to me seems to be recalling information like the stat blocks of monsters or something like that. Like,
kind of great.
hey, give me a displacer beast, and it would do that.
And it'll
Daniel
propagate.
Fox, the writer and publisher of Zweihanda, had this to say: human creativity will always be better than AI. People are the center of the D&D product.
I believe so.
Mr. Cox's
because that was
opinions are devastatingly
last
ignorant
fall.
and underscore how little he knows about the brand and its audience. D&D is book publishing and licensing in that order. If you ask any major book publisher what their opinion is about AI, they will resoundingly tell you the same thing. AI is not a replacement for human creativity.
It isn't. It isn't. It's a sounding board at best.
Up a feeling of a big
or secretary,
of the D&D
like a data assistant.
But of course, I don't know that audience. I don't know what the extent is that people use AI. I've often said on this channel that D&D isn't one game. It's a bunch of games, all a little different, happening concurrently at the same time. What is happening at my table is not necessarily happening at yours.
Right.
I have never used AI. Here, Mr. Cox is saying he doesn't know anyone that doesn't use AI. Now, he seems to be playing on virtual platforms. And
that's a good question. Like, how many of the people who are watching this live or the recording afterwards use AI for stuff? I use AI almost every day for stuff that I'm doing, but a lot of it is code checking, or it is a sounding board for someone, so I'm not just talking to myself when I'm doing game design and I don't have someone to talk to, or if I'm in an NDA situation where I really can't call one of my creative friends and talk to them about what I'm working on because it's NDA'd. I'll use it as a sounding board a lot of times to check my thought process and what I'm doing. And then I usually step away from it and continue my creative process. But if anyone else does, comment down below if they use it for things and how you use it. I know people in the comments are going to get mad. Be nice down there. If you're mean in the fucking comments, you know how I handle shit. Fucking gone.
If he's playing with 30 or 40 of his friends, he used to live in Seattle when he was in charge of Wizards of the Coast on the East Coast now, so if he wants to play with his friends, he's got to do it virtually. Apparently, he's got some number of groups going at the same time. It strikes me that the D&D Beyond character generator is kind of a form of artificial intelligence also, and if it could be made more intuitive.
How you use it makes it ethical,
tell a machine, I want to create a 5th level character. I want them to be half Tabaxi, half Dragonborn, dual class.
Like mine's my own database.
And it could just do it for you in a matter of seconds. Would you use it? It seems like to me like that would be the next step. From what I have read, it doesn't seem like these tools...
an AI repository of like, I don't know, dude. The one good thing I could see out of it, like if I'm not just going to light Wizards of the Coast on fire like I always do, I feel like an AI repository of everything they've ever made. And it pulls from that with a general database AI as well for like grammar and ideas and thought processes and all that kind of stuff. Being able to use that to go through everything that's ever been made since first edition to compile and make new things, or to take first edition modules and convert them to 5e or 5e 2024, that would be actually a really cool use of AI for D&D. But I guarantee it's the same thing we've all seen. They want AI GMs so that anyone can play without a GM, because the thing that they can't make successfully is GMs, because storytelling isn't an AI's strong suit.
Actually exist yet. It's still in that hypothetical stage, but that may be the direction they're moving with the game. I can offer some insight into why he might say these things. I noticed Mr. Cox has had a very high profile the last couple of months. I saw him on CNBC.
He's on this guy's fucking show.
Mad Money, and he's talking up the Hasbro brand, which is his job. CEO, you got to go out there and cheerlead. And he was talking about all the different brands, not just D&D, but Magic and Peppa the Pig and Transformers, and how different generations are now enjoying these brands with their kids, and all the different great things that he sees on the horizon.
Did you
And
see
the
that they're
reason
putting
to go on
Transformer
a show like
model
Mad Money is to hype
of Optimus
up
Prime
their company.
in their
Goldman
new
Sachs invited
VTT?
them, and Goldman Sachs has analysts
Like,
that recommend
like we're playing
stocks.
fucking Fortnite.
Now, just looking at my screen,
Bullshit.
I can see that a plurality of analysts are rating Hasbro stock as a buy, almost a strong buy. If you look at the one-year chart,
Oh, he's
Hasbro
going
is
deep.
almost
He's
where it
going into
was 1
numbers.
year ago, but a third higher than the November-December lows. Hasbro's forward dividend is $2.80. It's
a lot of that's just him being out front.
15% yield, and that means it's a stock that's potentially attractive to dividend investors. Like large-scale pension funds probably feel comfortable investing in Hasbro. It's a company that's been around for a very long time. Yes, they had a bad year,
Yes,
but that
serving
was
hands.
after COVID, and now they're tracking for a
Bad shit.
comeback. Now, of course, it was devastating news last year when Hasbro and Wizards.
This was horrible. This was a big layoff that they did that I don't think was necessary. And there were people from Wizards of the Coast got laid off during that. We have some friends within my community of friends we know got laid off from there. It's just they want to make so much money, but they won't keep their fucking employees after they
laid
do the
off a
job.
bunch of their employees.
Fucking
And
dumb.
while it's terrible that anyone had to lose their job, I understand why Mr. Cox did that. They were faced with a difficult decision. They had to cut costs some way, or they had to cut their dividend. Now, if they had cut the dividend, it could have sent the company into a death spiral where larger investors, pension funds say, hey, the reason we were investing in Hasbro is because of that dividend, and they just cut it in half. We're going to bail and take our money elsewhere. So now Cox is out there on Jim Cramer. He is talking to that audience at Goldman
I don't have any
Sachs,
kids, my friend.
and he is trying to assuage investors and try to convince them that they're on the cutting edge of technology. There's always trends.
Yeah, I
like
mean,
stories
I don't
in
think
the
tabletop
investing
needs to be on the
world.
cutting
A
edge
few
of
years
technology.
back, it was the metaverse.
called Tabletop.
Like everything was going to be
Yeah,
meta.
it didn't turn out.
Facebook even
That didn't
changed
turn
the
out.
name to Meta. And if you ask people what
He's
the
still trying to do
metaverse
stuff with
was,
Meta, though.
they really couldn't explain it. It was like, oh, it's like Tron or something. And then there's crypto. And if you ask the obvious question, like, why is electronic money worth anything if it's not backed up by a government? The answer was always blockchain. And Cox is out there saying anything to get this stock to move upward. And it is working. The street is rewarding him. They like what he's saying.
Yeah.
How will it impact play? I'm not really sure. Let me ask you, what type of AI tools
I was hoping
would
for something
you
else on
want
this
to
video.
use? Or would you not use them? Let me know in the comments below. Also below, there's links to Dungeon Craft Facebook and Patreon.
And he does great work. He does the same kind of 2-page spread thing I do. I love his work. I don't think this video was something that really brought anything to the forefront, personally, of what's going on. I do think that, again, I don't think that AI stuff has to be inherently wrong. Yeah, sure. People that just use AI love not to talk about it, and very real world impact. Look, I don't think a lot of people understand how it works in general. I don't think the people who are making it know 100% the ramifications yet. Just like we didn't know the ramifications of anything that we've made. I mean, fucking Ozempic is like ruin organs and shit now. Like, we don't know things until you try it. But I do think there should be some regulations put in place. That's all I'll really state on that. I am getting really close in my life to putting politics and religion and AI together as things I don't talk about in a bar or on screen because of the fight or flight mechanism and people losing their shit about it. But look, there is a spot for it in D&D. The question really is Wizards of the Coast going to use it right? They have no track record of ever showing us that they can do anything that is good for anybody in the last couple of years. Not since OGL. They have fumbled the ball so many times, I don't know if they even are playing the game anymore. And from OGL on forward, for the decisions that they've made, the plethora, I wish I could just go boom, 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 and have them all fill on the screen, because the mistakes they've made over and over don't haunt them long enough, because we don't let it haunt them long enough. I still haven't bought the Player's Handbook 2024. I have a paid game coming up here where I'm going to be running 2024, and I don't own it. I'm tempted to put it as part of the price of me running the game to buy the book, because I really don't want it to be my money. I have friends that worked on the project, but nothing about it is exciting to me or universally new. And the AI disclaimers everywhere that people put and whatnot are great. The thing is there's no transparency on how any of this stuff actually works. Like, at the end of the day, no matter what the topic is, if there isn't transparency in testing and use application, have it be a program, a new tool, new science, unless there's transparency and records you can look at and see what it does, then at the end of the day, it's all a lie. And nothing good is going to come out of it. I do enjoy using it, like I said, as an assistant, and I think there's some good stuff. And I've trained my own AI with my own documents and using PDFs of written stuff to make sure I'm writing the same style. I'm not missing how stat blocks are made and things like that. So there's a lot of people who don't like AI out there, but I don't think it's Skynet, everybody. We're not there yet. I do think it needs to be watched. And D&D is not the person I want to be the watcher. But that's it on this. Because we all know Wizards won't do it right. We know they won't do this right. At the wall garden they create full of probably my voice and other fucking... Watch, look at Matt Mercer's voice and take it all. Or Brennan Lee Mulligan. And all of a sudden he's your GM at a table because they're using AI to do it. That's the stuff I think we're going to see, and they're going to blanket it as a entry level to D&D where people can come and play with their own GM of a famous person. So tiring. If this is a video you've watched, don't worry. Around me, there's going to be a bunch of other things to watch that are way more fun and enjoyable, from reviewing zines that have came out from game jams to actual plays that I've done, or the subscribe as we try to hit 500. Down below, be friendly. Leave comments on how you use AI, how you look for ethically sourced AI, how you maybe use it in your tabletop RPGs, because that's the things we're here to talk about. If you're live, stick around. We're going to go into doing something fun. If you're watching this recorded, thank you so much for joining me. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. So let me go through some of these comments now that we're live and go through. Because I'm not ignoring you, just because I was recording that section. I tried to bring some up and point at him while we're watching it. I was expecting more out of this video. I was a little disappointed. I'm considering adding an AI disclaimer on my website regarding what I will and will not use. I'm not going to. I'm not going to put anything. I'm not going to put a disclaimer until I am publishing something. And then maybe I'll have a disclaimer. I'll put it in the video. I show a lot of my process on what I do. Like I said, in Shadow Dark, like when I'm building monsters, I ask for encounter dynamics. What's their example of a counter dynamic? And if I don't like it, I make my own. That kind of thing, you know? If I go to publish, I'll do it. But other than that, probably not. Logan, the legal argument the companies keep making about it being fair use to scrape your copyright protected work doesn't really fly well. Yeah, that's... I mean, it shouldn't fly well. You're scraping copyrighted stuff. It'd be different, again, these companies have tons of money if they just went and paid those people to buy a chunk of what they've made, have it be writing or art or whatever, paid them for fair use, and then use that to generate styles out of them. That would be really cool. You know what I mean? Nick says, I am never playing 2024. I'll continue 5e until we finish the campaign and swap. What are you going to swap to? You going to Shadow Dark? You going to go to Dragonbane? I personally have been thinking about making my own system. I don't know about you, from one creative to another. Timmy says, I got it for free from a fellow party member at a D&D day. He was like, I have extras. It's yours. Yeah, and they were saying it was going to be boutique, and they weren't going to print enough of them. But here we are. Freebies getting handed out. It's Oprah, everybody gets a car. Or D&D 24. Self-training AI is about the only one you'll get that can be ethical, and you don't have to worry about someone putting their thumbs on the scales of how the AI behaves. Yeah, I agree. There's some stuff where I went to write content for some of my jobs, and it says I'm not allowed to write that stuff. With ChatGPT. Mem doesn't seem to have that problem. They have a different AI architecture. Again, a lot of their AI works off of OpenAI 3.0 and then primarily works off of all your notes, which is what I really like. I think everyone thinks of doing their own system. Lord knows I have my own Magnus Opus in progress over the years. Look, I've made 2 small systems, a miniature game, and I've made a TTRPG at one point. I've thought about making them. I think the thing I see, there's only 2 avenues for this. You need to get it out of your head and you got friends that'll play it with you, or you think you can make a big enough audience to make selling it popular enough, have it be what Shadow Dark did or some of these other games. But is that big fat dungeon crawl? I know you love the deep. No intention to make my own system. I feel too many people are doing so. I want other systems to really put their dent in D&D. Again, like Pathfinder. I agree, and I played Pathfinder 2 for a long time. I'm not running it too much anymore. Does anyone have favorite systems here, like that they love, that they're playing? Like, I've been enjoying running Shadow Dark a lot. Does anybody else have any things that they like, that they've been running? Shadow Dark, Dragonbane. I'm trying to think of what else I've used lately. What else? Oh, I'm designing a Terminator game for a convention for Outgunned right now. And I've really enjoyed doing that. I think that's been a lot of fun. Done a lot of small games. Big one is slowing down as the dent in D&D. It's going to be about having a system that appeals to those players who enjoy. Yeah, I agree. And I don't think a D&D really is my game anymore. I enjoy Shadow Dark because of the ease of design for it. That's really my enjoyment out of Shadow Dark, and the ease of teaching others. For live stream, I can have anyone sit down. I can give them the basis of their character and have them up and running in a 30-minute talk. But like when I was doing Cyberpunk, and I love Cyberpunk, it's not that easy to teach to somebody who is a D&D head. Like it takes a lot more to get that ampersand out of their mind and have them learn how to handle exploding 1s and 10s and what attribute adds to what. And it's a skill-heavy system. So those are the ones that have been a little difficult. My favorite game still of all time, and to this day, and it hasn't changed, is Blades in the Dark. I really enjoy Blades in the Dark. I think it's a phenomenal set piece. And I think the setting's good, and the mechanics that it offers to the table, the polished version of Apocalypse World is just, it's kind of my game of choice. Star Trek is good. I love Star Trek. Star Trek is really good. I love I've taken their canon rule. Like every time an NPC comes on screen, they gain a new skill or something like that. That's one of the best things out of the new Star Trek. I highly recommend people give that a shot. Playing around a few different systems. Pathfinder 2e, Rises, The Cursed. Oh, I don't know what The Cursed is. What is that? Oh, what are your own? Okay, that makes sense. Lamentations? Luminarius, okay. Oh, nice. I want to run some Pirate Borg next. I'm looking at my plethora of books. I want to run some Pirate Borg next. I want to run Vastgrim at least once. I want to run a real Veins of the Earth campaign using Shadow Dark. If you don't have Veins of the Earth, I highly recommend it. Really good, like, subterranean crawl rules. What else have I wanted to run that I have sitting around here? I want to run Silver Raiders really bad. If you haven't seen Silver Raiders, make it. It's called OS, right? So it gets away with it, keeping the name. Also, I kind of want to run the new Werewolf too, just to have some fun. Not a long-term campaign. But if you guys haven't seen this, I got this bad Mamma Jamma at Gen Con last year. And I don't think I've ran it yet. It's thick. It's real thick. Right? It's a big boy. I would love to do this. Tell me you're just going to run a one-off, Logan. Look at this GM screen, everybody. I don't really use GM screens that much. I use them as a resting pad. I love the art on this. This comes back to that monochromatic kind of design. Look at this. How dope is that? This is cool. It has cards in it. It has punch out NPC tokens. It has a bunch of information on the areas you're going to be in. I have all the PDFs for it too, but I love these are handouts that I really enjoy. So you got this map, right? And on the back side of it, you get like the layout. I love that this is all drawn in like reds and orange, and it's just cool, man. So you get a bunch of those. Ooh, this one's, I think this is the one that was really cool. I think this is the castle district. Yeah. So this one's like the castle area. And then the other side is a vertical, which is the island town of Dunster. Right? There's just something about these fold out, really clean art pieces that I enjoy. Because you can set them down on your table, you can bring it for the one session, and you're good to go. I like the gritty art style. And we've talked about this before, but they drew inside of some of their maps so you know the art for each section. Then they have their map, which I don't remember if I've opened this yet. It's pretty crispy. I don't feel like I have. But you got two sides. You got this one. See if I can get all the shine off. Right? And then on the other side. So there's all this kind of stuff. Let me get through these. There's some art cards in here as well, if I remember correctly. And then you got a couple books. You got the player's guide. You got the referee's compendium. And you have, this is the big one. You got the Mythical North. And then there are silver pages. Right? It's evocative. Like, the whole style's evocative. I actually don't know what it is. It says, Outcast Silver Raiders is a blood-drenched occult medieval role-playing game in the old-school tradition. Inspired by Scotland circa 1200 CE, the Mythic North is an epic setting. A massive, low-prep hex crawl detailing a frigid land of mountains, hither crumbling castles and ancient stones. There are no wizard guilds, no orcs or dwarves. Monsters exist, but only as legends haunting the distant reaches. The Ascended Church hunts down any hint of magic, and the witches and enchanters practice the forbidden arts only in secret. Lords command, knights ride to battle, and peasants die in the mud. This 88 detailed encounters, 6 factions, 30 mapped and keyed locations, 4 multi-level dungeons, and an enormous 48-page mega dungeon. The Mythic North offers an intriguing and mysterious to run endless, exciting campaigns. This book is intended for adult audiences. Pretty cool. So I've been wanting to run this. I kind of want to do it as a home game or as a paid game. Maybe I might do it as a paid game on Let's Play, because I have all of the digital version of this. I think it'd be really fun to run it. So I don't know, man. There's stuff like this, like, it's so good. They made a cloth map, but I didn't know it was even a Kickstarter. And I don't even know what the cards are. It's initiative and ready, I think. I don't know. Cool art on the back of the cards, though. All right. And then this is the front side. So, I love me some low fantasy. Cool piece. I want to run this. This is on my docket. I don't even know what... Like, if it's its own baby. Like, I don't even know what the rules are. I simply saw this laid out on a table at Gen Con. I was like, this has got to be on my shelf, even if I never run. This is a piece of art. This has got to be on my shelf. So, I'm interested in running that. Is there anything else? I do need to run another Blade Runner at some point. I want to go back to my Warpaint system. I want to run some more of my Kaiju monster stuff that I was doing. Warpaint was super fun. So those are all like things in my near future. I do love the Cypher system. There's a lot of it at GameholeCon, which is coming up in October. I'm excited for Magnus Archives, if you know what that is. I get to play test it. One of the writers is going to be at GameholeCon and running it. This is Magnus Archives, if you guys didn't see this. me see if you can hear this. This is a podcast. They crushed, by the way. If that's not obvious.
The Magnus Archives is an award-winning horror podcast examining what lurks in the archives of the Magnus Institute, an organization dedicated to researching the esoteric and the weird. It follows head archivist Jonathan Sims as he attempts to bring a seemingly neglected collection of supernatural statements up to date, converting them to audio and supplementing them with follow-up work from his small but dedicated team. Individually, these stories, these statements, are unsettling. Together they begin to form a picture that is truly horrifying, because as they look into the depths of the archives, something starts to look back.
A Cthulhu-esque feel.
Now, finally, you can enter the archives yourself as a player or as a GM, investigating the supernatural horrors found in the podcast or those you create on your own. Work alongside Jonathan and Martin, Basira, Daisy, and the rest of the staff. Encounter the not them, the anglerfish, or the man upon the stair.
Some modern cryptidy shit.
Logan Leitner, the coffin that is also a pit, and the People's Church of the Divine Host, and face the effects of these secrets upon the world and yourself.
So, over 2 mil. 2 million. This is everything you get in the entity backer level. Really clean. Looks great. I love the concept. So this is something that I'm looking forward to seeing come out. Probably this is my most excited I've been about a Cypher product in a long time. Really cool piece. If you're interested in it, you want to take a look, I'll put it in our show notes as well. Let me add it to the show notes here. But yeah, I mean, these are all things that I've kind of been looking at lately. I think we played this on Saturday night. But what I was going to say is today I'm looking at doing a little bit more monster design for Shadow Dark. Mostly wanting to do some initial ETHUANTIA monster design. So I know a lot of you guys haven't seen how big the ETHUANTIA monster doc is, or not monster doc, but the ETHUANTIA doc is, since I converted it for Dragonbane. So I think I'm going to pull that up first, and then I already know what I want to make in here. I made all of this in Canva. This is our Ether Ghoul. This was like our test page for another one. This is the full Ether Ghoul write-up, which follows Dragonbane. And then this is the Ether Ghoul at the bottom here, for those who don't know. And then I did like a D&D to Dragonbane like work area to see if I could do it. But this is what I made out of it. I think like going back and probably would lighten the background a little bit. It's a little dark of a book, but I like the overall look and feel. But this font gets a little lost for me. But we'll see. And I guess if you zoom in, it's not too bad. Got some ideas for it, especially after doing a lot of design work since this one. But for making this in Canva, pretty happy with it. So let me close out some of this stuff. I have some PDFs open. Let me grab my Drive doc. I want to take a look at it. Because I need to, before I can design monsters, I need to finish the different styles of monsters. And I didn't do that yet. And I feel like I should do that. So we're on Dragonbane Volume 1.1. I'll bring it over here so you can see it. There's a lot in here. For those who know, this has been through 7 different systems over the years. So when I ask about systems, I've been through the ringer. I really want something that is... I wanted to use the Dragonbane rules well. I wanted to have the soul punk Victorian horror feel. The only thing that I think is missing from Dragonbane that I found in Pathfinder and found out I didn't like it was the crafting rules. I don't feel like a lot of systems have made great crafting rules. I also wanted monsters that have some style to them, and I found that in Dragonbane. So let me show you the reason I switched. This is their bestiary. Mine are called Creatura, Volume 1, 2, and 3, Creatura. It's Latin, I believe, for creature. But they are going to be Creature Chronicles Volume 1, 2, and 3. But the way they design their monsters, I enjoy. There's a difference between NPCs and monsters in Dragonbane. Let's get that out right. So, for example, a goblin is usually an NPC. They're pretty clean, easy stat block line. There's usually a little write-up, a little bit of extra, like what they do, how you want to handle a random encounter for them. And then they usually have an NPC block. In this case, it's a scout, a warrior. What they all get, right? If you want to do it as a player character, you're going to play them as a player character, and then their willpower ability, right? Very clean. But when you get to monsters, what do I look for a good crafting system? So Tiffany can attest to this. We played the Black Cube together, Invisible Sun. And the problem I have with crafting systems is they are either not, I don't want to say complex, not enough details to make what you want, or they are so detailed that the process is slow. I understand that players, a certain player likes to be able to build and make and craft items in a game. But the rules need to be easy enough for them to understand it and not get buried in minutia. PF2E, it gets a little minutia-y. And in my current campaign, my live show on Tuesdays for Superstitions, the first season we were using monster part rules from Roll for Combat, and it didn't add anything good to me. When a system gets so complex that your options are there, but they're not easy to implement, no one does them. So in Dragonbane, I'm using the monster parts to give them willpower points for their magical items they make. Because in Dragonbane, they usually represent a spell ability, and you use your own willpower to cast them. But in Dragonbane, I've made something called reservoirs, which are a couple extra willpower points that your item has. It's really weird to make a crafting system. Monty Cook has said outright that he hates making crafting systems. So, I think the permanency spell in this game helps a lot with stuff, and I'm adding a technological part because it's soul punk Victorian horror. It's industrialized technology, like right at the turn of century from Victorian London and in the US where industrialization was getting really large. But monsters is what actually sold me on this, because I'll make my own crafting system. It's kind of what I've come down to. And when you get through all of the NPCs and we get into let's look at giants. Giants are a great representation of a monster in Dragonbane. They give you a category write-up, which in ETHUANTIA I have as well. If I switch over here, if we scroll down and we go to here, you can see my bestiary update is here. And then I'm going through and doing a breakdown of different creatures in the game. I'm going to put this at a little higher percentage, 125. I would like to get rid of this. What is this? What is this? Oh, it's comments. I'd like to hide my comments. There we go. Let me scroll back down to it here. So I started breaking them down. Angelics created, Fallen Abhorrence, Fae. Drow have a long history in the world, so I'm writing them up because they worship the abhorrent gods. They live in the tides. Pacted are my demons and devils and that kind of stuff in here. I wrote some rules for Pathfinder for how to handle possession, but now I need to rewrite them for Dragonbane. There is possession rules under demons, but I have to rewrite that. I also have to rewrite spirits and how I want to do that and how different salts affect them. Strigoi, which are your vampires and ghouls and stuff like that. I might reuse this word. I'm not a fan of it. I also don't want to use the term undead. So I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with it yet. Let me get some more music here. Any new playlists here that look good? Ooh, let's do this one. That's great art. Damn. Starborn, which is a working name, is a certain type of creature born above the stars. I've been working on these. These are the categories, broad categories in the game. Fae are creatures. They're all things from across the veil and the Never Never. So, I have... how many pages? This is 85. The DM section is 100. No, it's shy. It's like 95 pages. And then I have a monster book that I'm putting together, which right now, without all the stat blocks in it, just the flavor that I have from everything is somewhere around 40. I think with stat blocks, it's going to be closer to like 80. And you'll see why in a minute. So a lot of work have went into this setting. It's been around for a while. But I haven't updated it since September, because I was doing summoners, eidolons, and spells this month. So, with that said, I kind of want to break down their monsters a little bit and talk about how they build stuff. So they give us a nice long write-up for giants. I'm going to grab Mem here. And I want to do some notes from the show. And I'll copy and paste it. I'm going to do Dragonbane, Beast, Monster Breakdown. I think they call him Beast, though. So I want to be able to take notes while I'm doing it here. So they give you a good base write-up on what the creatures are for their setting, which is like a mythic, what is it called? It's mythic and what? What is the myth and mirth? They have a forest giant. They have like usually a quote, which I enjoy the quote. And I've learned when I'm writing for a system, I like to follow some of their formatting because I've already been trained. And then I break the formatting for things that are important for the setting or thing that I'm making. They always have a random encounter, so it's usually so let's break this down. So it would go heading, monster, group. Oh no, I don't want like that. I want a space. And then after that, it would do description of the group. This looks like it's italicized. There we go. And then after that, it looks like they give us a quote. Okay, so it goes monster. It goes monster. Type. And then it goes quote. And then it goes write up. Then it goes random encounter. That's all caps for theirs. I don't know if I'm going to follow that format. It's going to depend on the font, as we've talked about in other videos. So bold. Why is this not? Let me highlight it. I'm going to refresh this. That's weird. I'm playing with version 2 that's not out yet. They kind of gave me access to it early. For some reason. You have to... I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I have to hold the highlight over it. Weird. This should technically be 3. I'm just going to put H3. But theirs is H1, I think. So that's kind of the breakdown of what they do. Then you're going to have what the encounter is. See, this shouldn't be bolding it. What the encounter is. And then stat block. And then do they do anything else after that? We get into the monster text. So this is specifically why I enjoyed Dragonbane. Monsters just go. And players have to make the decision if they want to evade it, or if possible, parry it. And you can pick the attack, but a lot of times you roll a d6 to keep it, so you're not doing the same thing over and over again. And it makes the conflicts feel like you're dealing with a creature, like an actual monster. And I really enjoyed it. And it's just the abilities put together in a table. It's nothing crazy. Gnawing Friends, Crushing Club, Body Tackle, Bear Hug, Forceful Throw, Snaring Roots. And this is for the forest one. Right? And then they give you an adventure seat with art. But if you go down the mountain one, they'll have some different. This says Crushing Blows as well. This is 4d10. I'm going to guess it doesn't do 4d10 on the other one. Yeah, so it's a lesser giant. It does 2d6. And it does slashing damage. I enjoyed this style of monster because it allows me to make NPCs still and have them be pivotal NPC characters within the game. But it allows me to design monsters in a way that you don't see. And I have like a lot of cryptids in my game. I have some new Strigoi or undead in my game. And then I even have, there are dead dragons that provide spirits. And my game world my setting is full of spirits and souls. So I have a lot of spirits and creatures of the incorporeal or insubstantial type to make. And I need them to feel different. But if they're just NPC stat blocks, they don't feel different. And I'll be honest, like when I look through monsters in PF2, they have some differences to them, but it just feels like a word salad. I love this table to break things up. Also a good use of a different color background. So today I want to design some of my ghosts and spirits because I have some of that going on. And I'm not going to do full layouts today. I just want to take some notes on how they build their ghosts and then to adapt it to my setting, if that makes sense to everybody. So I'm going to go over here. We're going to go to Undead. Oh, they even do a color change. And they have Ghost here. Last was promise of threat. You think you'll get rid of me with this unjust execution, but I swear by a beating heart that I shall. So this is like the start of a Ghost. So here's the thing that they have. They have immunity. Ghosts are immaterial beings. So this is important verbiage that they use. The idea of immaterial beings. So let's go over to our Chrome page. And I just want to make some terminology notes. Material beings. This is for ghosts. I think that's important. Let's see if it doesn't highlight. I don't understand. I'm gonna have to make a note and tell them that. So they're immune to all damage except magic and fire. Well, in my world, that doesn't work. I'm gonna copy this stat block. We're actually just gonna break this down. So let's do ghosts. I'm gonna do this. After the write-up, random encounter. What was after random encounter? Adventure seed. Stat block. And then bold. I can't even like click. Weird. My my word editor here is being very weird. Look, it's like putting it to the last one. You see that? Maybe it's just because it's plugged in. No, it's definitely the app. Info here on an adventure seat. I'm gonna do this for terminology. And then we're gonna do a ghost as well here. And I want to kind of break down. Oh my god, fuck me. I might not be using this program today if it's gonna keep doing this. Ghost breakdown. I don't have time to be fighting where my fucking cursor is in an app. That's so fucking wild to me. I didn't have that problem until today. I wonder if that's not even active. I was thinking maybe my Grammarly was causing. So we know we have ghost immunity. Ooh, can I do this without formatting? Well, damn. Not being able to paste by deleting formatting is really annoying. Really, really annoying. Persuadable. Where's your friendly 3D stapling it right? It's weird. It's really weird that's doing this. So they have immunity. And what else? See, I don't think mine would be fire. I think it would be salt. Salt. Oh, now it's working. So it should be magic, holy, objects. No, actually, I take that back. It should just be magic and salt. And then the different variations will have all their breakdowns. Okay, that'll work. They can only be banished once a shift for Dragonbane. This is the other part I loved about. It's like when running games, I saw this in Shadow Dark, when Shadow Dark started making the fact that you had an actual timer. In Aliens, Blade Runner, and when I say Breachers, Aliens, Blade Runner, and Dragonbane, they have 3 different time frames. They have 4 technically. The round, which is, you know, your 6-second round, right? A stretch, which is 15 minutes. And then they have a shift, which is 6 hours, basically 4:15 to an hour, 4 shifts to a day. And I didn't realize how awesome if you say, well, it's going to take you a shift to do it, or it's going to take you 4 stretches to do it in an hour. It really lets you help control the pacing and stuff instead of things being every round. And I like the passing of time in my games. And with ETHUANTIA, time has become such a important part of how I run it that I was like, oh, I should definitely bring this in and use this in my game design. So I know I like that. They're also persuadable creatures, which is not common. I do like that. I like having persuadable spirits, especially when they possess people. But I don't see possession rules here. So like I was hoping this ghost would have possession. I don't see possession rules. And there's no possession here. There's Ghost Embrace. There's Cold Strike, Scream, and Touch of Death, and Ghost Strike. Okay. Cold Strike and Ghost Strike. So let's check in the core book. This core book has a bunch of monsters as well. Ghost is one of the first ones. What's the difference? Why did they reprint this? This is exactly the same. Is the random encounter seed the only thing they added? Why didn't you give us a new variation? I don't understand this kind of stuff. If you're going to reprint a monster, like it's in the core book. Why would you reprint this into another book and not change it up? I don't like that. Maybe demons have possession. There we go. Ooh, and so this is one of those ones that breaks their own rules. They have a curse, and that curse has a d6. So if you roll a 3, they curse somebody, and then you roll a d6 for the type of curse that they do. I love this table. You don't see tables within tables very often. You know what I mean? That's solid. But they have possess. So here's possession rules. So let's copy this and let's bring it over to our kind of rough working board here. Oops. I didn't even show it to you. I had the wrong thing on, didn't I? There we go. So this is your demon instead. Because the 2 ghosts were exactly the same, which I did not want. Which one goes over top of each other? I need to see something. PDF goes over top, so I can just leave this one up. Okay, that's cool. So let's put... Now it's not working again. Why? Is my mouse broke? I don't understand. Possession. Oh, that's cool. You break that, you delete that one piece and it reformats it all. That's, I actually really like that. Persuadable. Has to do like that. So that's what a demon does. Demon glares at a player character within 10 meters and takes full control of the victim's body. Player character must make a will roll with a Bane, not an action. Something this is a reaction type. If it fails, the victim must immediately make a move and perform an action of the demon's choice, except any action that requires spending WP. This is a real weak possession. Like, I want them to inhabit them. You know what I mean? Like, inhabit the body. So this isn't going to work exactly the way we want, but this is a good point of reference. We could just kind of do this. For possession. And then we can look at mine. And look at mine. And let's go to my possession rules, which I think was in here. This is old. I had to update it. So this is PF2s. I want to close this though. I don't like this being over here. I didn't do shit. Ah, fuck you. So my possession. Look, it should be a shirt by now. What do we got here? Possession. How did I handle this? I did stages, which I enjoyed. I know it's a little more to track. The stages looking back might be something closer to adventure. Maybe like if a possession was an adventure. And I have the salt, and if they have like pacted possession. So rules for possession, there are two different types of pacted possession. The most prominent is through force, while the other is a willing vessel. I always like the word vessel for shit. When possession is through force, it requires a mortal to make a will save DC based on the level of the creature. And page 66 of the GMG, there are extra modifiers, to possession that you can find on the table below. If it's a family member, if it's a failed save by the day before, if it's cursed or marked by the pacted. So this table, you know, I'm just going to edit it here. This table, if it's a family member, I think it should be 3 Bane. If it is failed save before, it should be 1 Bane. In Dragon Bane, you roll D20s. You're looking to roll under your number. So if your skill is 15, you get 15 or lower. If you have a Bane, you add another D20. 2 Banes is 3 D20, your core plus your 2. You roll on Banes, you have to take the highest roll that you have, just like you do for advantage and disadvantage. On a boon, you roll 3 dice and you take the lowest. Boons and Banes wash each other out. So you can have multiple D20s that you're rolling. So it's a very simple system to teach somebody. Curse should be a Bane. Willpower. Willpower is points that you have that you use to cast spells in the game. If we go to you know what, let me pull up a character sheet for you. Hold on. So if you are a wizard or even a warrior or something along those lines, or a fighter, it's a resource that you use to use your talents, like special abilities. Also for wizards, or in my game, they're called mancers. And that's clerics, wizards, whatever type of caster you are. you use those points to cast your spells. And you can recoup them. Like if you take a quick break, I think it's a stretch, you can get a D4 back. If you take a shift, you get more back. Get some sleep. If you have any questions, leave them in comments later. Thanks for stopping by, Logan. Again, great work. Bravo on the updated version. A few touch-ups, man. You got something fucking awesome. Yeah, willpower. Yeah. I'm trying to find a character sheet for you. Hold on here. I have a bunch of ones from... Is it under Dragonbane or... It's under Free League. I'm going through my library of fucking abilities. Hold on. Or not abilities, of RPGs. Where is my Free League? Here we are. Free League, Dragonbane. And we want NPC sheets, pre-gens. Where's my pre-gen wizard? Where's my pre-gen wizard? Ooh, did I not? Oh, the adventure art. Cards. Core. Is it in core? No. Handouts? No. Well, maybe I didn't download it. Also, they have a really good license for creating stuff. At least I think it's solid. I might have not downloaded them all. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I have them. Let's see, character sheet. Let's see if this form fill. I can just use the form fill to show you. All right, so here's like a... Oh, this is an old form fill. We don't want this. Pre-generated characters. Found it. Okay. So let's do single page view. So this is the wizard, which is a perfect example of what we're looking at. Let me pull them up. This is the wizard. These are your skills. You'll see down here. So he's got a 18 will as a stat. And then down here, you can see he's got 18 willpower points. And when you cast a spell, the power rating determines the initial cost plus if you want to rank it up when you cast it. But talents cost the same thing. So if you're looking at the Dragonbane rules and you go to, say, any of the kin, which is their races. Let's go to player characters and kin. You'll see that even the starting kin have abilities like human has adaptive. For 3 willpower points, when rolling for a skill, you can choose to make a roll using another skill of your choice. You must be able to justify how you use selected skill instead of normal. So, for example, if you were going to run across the top of a fence, and you're like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm using strength. I'm gonna barrel through this and break it. You could swap up the use and make that skill adaptive. It's pretty cool. Really clean. All the kin usually have an ability. Some cost willpower. The Mallard has 2 because there's one that's just, they have webbed feet. Inner Peace for elves. They don't have that, but they heal a little bit better when they're resting. And then professions, excuse me, are your classes in this game. They give you access to things like talents, right? And then if we go down through these and we go to your talents, so here's your skills, and heroic abilities also have costs, like Berserker and so on. So that's what the willpower points are. But then it's a resource. So let's go back to the demon. Let's go back to here. Turn this off. So curse should be a bane and marked by the pact. If they get their mark on you, that's gotta be... It's gotta be... I actually think this should be 3 bane, looking back on this. And this should be 2. These are all stackable, too, to make your life hell. Yeah. You out? See a Skiffy. I'm not going to be out much longer either. I'm just redoing this piece. While the other is a living vessel. When possession is through force, it requires a mortal to make a will. I don't remember if they call them saves or rolls in Dragon Day. I think it's W-I-L, will roll. Okay, so it would be a will roll. Roll with with all boons and banes. There are extra modifiers for possession you find below on the table, so we got that. They're a willing vessel. Possession is automatic. There's no roll. Okay. So stage 1, and I think they do again. Is it 1L? They do 1L. I was right. 1L. Will roll plus modifiers. On failure, the pacted has a hold on you. Can last days equal to the pacted's possession duration. So I got to figure out how I want to do that. Because I don't want it to be days duration. I could make it days equal to how much you fail by. Oh, cheers me, thanks. Cheers me's a lot. I thought maybe it was, I'm heading out. More than welcome, bud. Maybe I will do that. That's kind of a cool duration. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to say days equal to it needs to be simpler, though. I should probably just make it a stat in the stat block for days. Or it may not even be needed because the fail is cumulative. So if they fail the first day, they fail the second day, they fail the third day, they fail the fourth day, they're really in a pickle. I think lasts until revoked. Until revoked. Banished. Lasts till banished. Or the vessel is destroyed. And the demon, or the possessor, is forced out. I think that works better. In this case, if a demon is rolled, which is a 20, which is bad, takes complete hold and no further rolls are necessary. So that's 1. Stage 2 is physical possession. So the first stage is it trying to contact you. The second one, I need to rewrite these. The second one is physical possession. The pact has made contact and try to possess you once per 24 hours. They can attempt this in a variety of ways, such as mirrors, nightmares, voices, texts, and items. Player must make another, and this is again going to be will. Boop. Roll. Plus any asset bonus from, so it wouldn't be asset plus. Those are leftover rules from fucking Cypher. Plus modifiers. Plus banes, boons and banes. I was going to say modifiers. On a failure, the pact takes hold of the body and roots themselves inside the soul. And someone else must banish the possessor. Because then it's in you. You've already fucking lost. Now you got to find somebody to get a hold and get you out. I'm going to say on a demon, they can use their full powers through the vessel. Like just the best possible binding, but it doesn't happen a lot. Again, that's if they roll 20, but when you're rolling 4 dice, there's a good fucking chance that this could happen. And this should be moved to stage 3. On the possession, the mortal can use its abilities through them once per, and this should be shift. Shift. Plus anything that happens in stage 3. Each ability used harm the vessel more than normal, causing additional. So this, they do damage. Ooh, so I can't use that much damage because they will fucking die. Because the hit points are so low in Dragonbane. So I will say each ability used harms a vessel for 1d6, ignoring armor. Ignoring armor. Once the body can sue the packing of the mortal realm. So basically, stage 1 is they're making content through a book, an item, something along those lines. They're trying to possess them. If they get past that, they've made contact, then they're now a target that they can try to possess. Stage 2 is a physical possession. So over that course, that can happen right away, but over 24 hours and once per, they make a roll. Once it's failed, they are now in there. And then on stage 3, they are in the body and they try to burn up the vessel to destroy the body to enter the material area. And then incorporeal is going to be a little bit different for this kind of stuff. Mortal realm by an object, place, thing must be gathered with their bones to rid the world of them. This is going to be different. This is going to take a lot of work. I might actually have to rewrite this entire section for them. Because I want the spirits, so in my setting, the soul punk aspect of it is that there is nowhere for souls to go anymore. It's purgatory is gone. The souls roam, and they are used to like power magical items. You put them in reliquaries and cabinets in your house to speak to them. Because there's on Tuesdays, the day of remembrance, you can speak to them while they're in the reliquary. No magic required. You use this to kind of keep them nourished and keep them healthy and make sure they don't become malicious or corrupted, or that your house doesn't get haunted. Like you spend time with your family that's passed. And then they're also roaming the world, and they possess people looking for a body because they're all looking for a purgatory. Since there's no purgatory, spirits are known for possessing people. The true faith has a lot of mancers or clerics that can shove out people, who shove out spirits that possess people, and then they capture them and fetter them to relics. So that means I got to redo. God, before I can even start these monsters. Before I even start these monsters, I got to redo all my fettering, which I touched already and did, my possession rules, and how much damage they do when they're in you. Because they're trying to take over the body permanently. Demons are destroying it and erupting out of it. And I think each demon, let me make a note here. I think I want each demon for reference. Oh my God, come on, stop. This is so fucking annoying. So I'm going to put a note that demons are Pacted, I should say. Pacted. Try to destroy the body, dealing 1d6 every time they use an ability through the vessel. When at 0 HP, they consume the body and open a portal to the material. are released. But spirits, I think spirits are doing the opposite. They are trying to use the body as a place of purgatory and survive. Now, be reborn, maybe? Be resurrected? Not be reborn. No. Make home? Thank you, Skiffy. To escape, I should say. Escape eternal unrest. Like their own purgatory. I would say that they don't do damage. They probably do willpower damage. They do 1d 4 WP damage and tax a body until they need to rest, which gives you that like they're so tired kind of thing because they are tapping into them. Spirits can also drain WP from other creatures to heal their new vessel. So that's my rough notes on what I'm going to need to do to get this kind of up and running. It's going to be a little bit of work. I'll probably sit down and write this tonight and Sunday. I'm going to be running Living ETHUANTIA again here as soon as I have my base corrections done, because the goal is for me to be able to cut this down so that players can take their Pathfinder 2 characters if they'd like. We can sit down and remake them. Or we can make all new characters, and then we come and we can start playing Living ETHUANTIA again. If you weren't here for Living ETHUANTIA, it is a living campaign where I run games based around our Tuesday campaign that we're doing. And I run adventures that you sign up for in the Discord, and you use Streamloot cards like upgrade your character, get new pieces. I'll be redoing those cards here very shortly, and probably like once our ETHUANTIA season ends, I will start running our Living ETHUANTIA, and I'll probably be running that through December. And you can sign up to play, and you'll be playing in Dragonbane. So I have to get all of this ready to rock and roll, and it's close. That's really close. Like, I've got the kin finished for every one of my main kin in ETHUANTIA. I have a chunk of my new professions done. So right now, Sarian is the new kin. That's the skeletal kin that I've added into my world. And then I added Priest has got its own profession now, and you're like a specific style of caster. I've added new spells for them, new devotions, taboos, and holy and doctrine stuff. I got to redo a little bit of this because Dragonbane doesn't have this much complexity. So I really boiled it down. And then the 4 hands of the true faith. And then Summoner I don't have here, but it's almost done. I have it written in another doc. And they actually can summon and have an Eidolon and like jump into the body. And they actually get a cross between a monster and a spellcasting device. So the Eidolons you can randomly roll like you do for the monsters that you see on this page. Or right next to that 1 through 6, there's a will point cost. And you can just tell your creature, your Eidolon, to cast spells. And one of them is to wear your Eidolon as armor, like Guyver. Because that's something that was so awesome in Pathfinder, and I still wanted that. So I've based that on the different schools of magic, which in Dragonbane is animism, elementalism, and mentalism. And then my new one that I've added is spiritualism, which is like all the occult spells, or occult for those of you who are in the know. And those have all my new spells in it. So that's what I've been working a ton on. I've redone all the skills, added all the new secondaries, the breakdown for all the secondaries, how magic and ley lines work in Dragonbane, and how you can channel ley lines, which is also a big part of Asarians. I've got my basic spell template. Like, for example, this is a part where I was using AI to help me generate all of my spells out of my notes and format them. And it was going through and slapping it in the formatting, which was super cool. So like you have your general template, and then I have like repair damage, repair wound, new spell for animisms, elementalism, metallic armor was made for Todd, fabricate gear was made for Todd's character, spiritualism is my new school that I'm working on. And these are the new magic tricks like calming soul, ectoplasmic touch, ghostly light, ghost whisper. I have ghost and hollow whispers, and I'm thinking about merging these. They're kind of I don't like them being the same. I'm probably gonna rename it. Haunted echo, which you can mimic the voice of someone who's dead. Phantom footsteps and spectral visage. And then I have ether sight, ethereal shield, exorcism, fetter soul, apothecary ghost, which is super fun. You summon a spirit from the ethereal to help you tend to people in medical need, which is super fun. Salt circle rules, summoning ancestral spirit and what it does, spirit communication, and then I started breaking down all my druid circles, all the languages in the setting. Like there's a ton here. It's a full-fledged setting. If you're part of my Patreon, which is just Erik Frankhouse Presents, you have access to this every month. I do updates to it all the time. I only charge for updates. My Patreon will be changing soon. I'm going to be doing a lot more with it, involved with stuff, but I got to rebuild a website to do what I want to do. So I think that's where I'm going to leave it. I had too much to think about to do this on air today. I think what I'm going to do is sit down and work on rewriting these rules that are kind of where I want them, but not 100% for all of my spirit stuff. Get them ready to go. This is just Google Docs for anyone who is wondering what this is written in. And then I'm going to transfer them over and create things like my ether ghouls here that I did and bring them to light. I'm a big fan of this. I printed this page. It looks great. A little dark, but it still looks good. This was art from my video game company that I owned for my ether ghouls. If anyone's wondering where that's from, it's not AI generated. It's drawn by Micah, a really talented artist. And then, yeah, I think that's all my stuff today. I do have a couple announcements though for the end of the show. So I'm going to be at Con. I'm bringing a couple games to run for those who are going to be there. I'm bringing my Outgunned Terminator. I have a really fun 2-hour session of Terminator using Outgunned. Yeah, I made it up. Yep. Oh, a call. You get it, my friend. Yes, that is one I made up. Actually, every spell in there is ones that I've made up. Every one of them are custom ones that I did because they're suiting to my campaign. Like before I do, I guess, my announcements, since you have questions, I would be dumb not to answer. Let me go back to spiritualism. Where are you at? Spiritualism. So in spiritualism, I wanted... Oh, I love that you make that go away and it fucks it all up. Where'd it go? He's after this, right? Oh, yeah, I'm making orders, too. I forgot about that, all my orders. Yeah, I wanted something where you use a dead man's voice. It has to be someone who's dead. It works really well, like if there's reliquaries in the area, you can rank it up and use ones that people who are in that house know. Like, you could touch a reliquary, steal the voice of that person, or if you carry someone, you can steal the voice of, like, a general from an army or something along those lines, and that's what you tap into. And that's a ghost trick. Like, that's a ghost trick. Oh, Hollow Whispers is different. You summon a gentle spirit that carries whispered messages up to 30 meters away. Only the intended recipient can hear your message. And then the Ghost Whisperer, I need to redo. This one is you can hear faint whispers of nearby spirits for one stretch. This gives you a boon on awareness when detecting hidden or unseen entities. So I'm going to redo the name on this one. And the one you were talking about is... Haunted Echo. You mimic the voice of a deceased person when you have encountered. This lasts for one or more conversations and can be used to communicate with others if you were the deceased person. So if you're dead, it's a two-part. If you're dead, you can also use it to speak to the living. I wanted some double, and these are called tricks, so they're cheaper to use. Ether sights to see ethereal creatures. Ethereal shield basically makes an ectoplasmic shield versus incorporeal creatures. They're not called incorporeal. It should be immaterial attacks, because that's what Dragonbane uses as the word. And then exorcism is perform a ritual to handle when people are possessed at the stage where they're in the body. Rank 3, very powerful. You have prerequisite. In Dragonbane, there's prerequisites for spells, which I enjoy. You can't have exorcism if you don't have purge or banish. But yeah, fetter soul. Fettering is the word I use in my game a lot. You have to be licensed for it. There are people who do it illegally, but license lets you take spirits and fetter them to an object of value. The object has to be a value equal to their hit points. I think is what we ended up doing for this. But there is a talent for the abandoned to possess another body. Abandoned are a kin that you can play. They are a soul that wish to stay alive, and they reconstituted the wounds on their body. A lot of them are filled with stained glass because they died in a falling cathedral. There's only one place originally that abandoned were made, and they actually can't body hop. When they sleep, their soul comes out of their body and wanders just around the squares around their body to give the body a rest, and the spirit needs to be strong enough to rebind. There's a talent where you can do that. Yeah, if you sign up on my Patreon, it's part of that. Yep. This is version 1.1. 1.2 will be out here at the end of this month. And you get access to it. Plus all the other stuff I do, like War Paints is in there, which is my kaiju game for Cypher. Breachers will be in there once I get it to a point where I like it. I like running it, but I don't have enough information there. I really think it needs to have GM stuff. Right. Yeah, how are you learning Meteor Swarm when you don't have Fireball? But I love when people try to use a scroll of, like, let's say Meteor Swarm. In Dragonbane, I'm like, yeah, you can do it. Do you know Fireball? They're like, no. I'm like, well, that's a bane to using the scroll. And they're like, fuck. Let's do it. It's super fun. Oh, and salt circles are great. They set up really good RP scenes where they put the salt circle on the ground and you can use them as a trap when a spirit comes through. Or you can take an immaterial creature that is inside of a body in possession and salt circle the chair they're in, so that when you're doing all your stuff, you're a little more safe from them. So you create a 2 meter salt circle trap. Immaterial creature must roll an awareness to notice the trap. If they fail, they're trapped inside the circle. Each round they can attempt to escape. While in the salt circle, they cannot move through, attack, or harm anyone outside. For every power level added to the salt circle, it drains 2d6 hit points. Because immaterial creatures need to have a 0 hit point to fetter them. So it allows them to, like, drains their will to live if you put power into it. It's super fun. I like Dragonbane a lot. And the combat's really fun. Yeah, there's a lot in here. A lot. And this is a mix of Pathfinder and Dragonbane, because I'm converting all to Dragonbane now. I already done it for Pathfinder. Like, I have licenses for organization where you can license, take a prerequisite test. I don't know if you guys played Dragonlance back in the day. I love the tower test that you would take to become a mage. So I kept the idea of having organizations and you can join them and you take a test and you get access to stuff. So you take a test, the license cost to join, you basically pay it once the entrance exam is passed. License gives you access to the teachers and gear. Teachers in Dragonbane allow you to train your skills. Basically, you can spend money to have them teach you, and you get a roll. You have to roll over your skill level to raise it one. So if you have a 10 and your teacher has to, be higher than you, and you roll with a bonus from them, and it goes up one. Your skill goes up one, so you're more likely to cast those spells. So you get access to trainers there, which are hard to get. A license gives you the teachers and gear, a devotion and taboo, which if broken, they can revoke your license. She was so nervous for her test. and Dragonlance. I haven't done one for ETHUANTIA since Voss. I'd like to do one for Dragonbane. I think it'd be a lot of fun. The test is required to advance to the next title. Each prerequisite to take the test. The test does not have assistance from outside help. It takes 1 week of downtime to prepare and take the practical exam. The license costs 20 gales for an apprentice, 40 gales for journeyman, 60 for a master. And then the exam skill requisites are 12 for apprentices, 15 for journeyman, and 18 for master. If you want to do a skill prerequisite. So that's what you have to be able to get, though. It's on here, Nick. My training in the Dragonlance series is on here. Hold on. Let me find it. Let me find it for you. If you go to the playlists and you go to, let me just look up Dragonlance. Oh, here it is. I did Dragonlance like Game of Thrones when I ran it. And I think it was, let me mute this and I'll tell you. Is it this one? We have things.
He's got his sword.
Nope.
Walking with his spear and his shield, but then with his shield hand, he kind of.
Is it this one? You say that, but I need I think it was this one. Yeah. Adventure, right? But I am definitely not running this like the pre-written adventure. Yeah, it was this episode. This was the test I made Allie and Moxie do together. Because that would be I really wish I would have made this a larger frame looking back.
Since you've been keeping her safe.
What you see on screen. Are you spending anything into it? So there's this one. Did I do another one? Was that the only test Serving Hands you remember? Was Blood Magic. I thought she did another test later on, didn't she? Wasn't there a second test? I think there was. This is a long series. This is the longest one I did because it was Monday and Tuesday night playing in the same story arc, but off of one another. It's how I run tabletop games. There's also my design shows for me making everything. Trying this. There's another one in here. I don't remember where it was. There was another test that she took. Yeah. She did. She went back to take a test for something else, but that one alone fucking freaked her the hell out. It was great. I love running tests. I think they're one of the best things. I really do. So I made organizations for it. The True Faith has their own. They have the different body. They have the body of faith, which is like the center. And then they have the four hands, which is earth, water, fire, and air, which we're all familiar with. But what they actually are is very different. The hand of earth is like the people who protect everyone within the setting, within like the military, because it's a theocracy in the main section of the world. And then they have an internal inquisitor. Basically, they do internal investigations of the True Faith when things are wrong. The hand of water, which are the people who go out and tend to people and bring water because there's no water in the world. They have jugs like think milk, but they would hang them high above the door so if the tides roll through at night, your water doesn't get corrupted. On top of that, there is another version of them called a titleman or title maiden, and they collect taxes as well as deliver water. The hand of air are the air marshals, because all of the things that used to swim in the oceans and water, when the sundering of the world happened, a lot of them survived and grew wings through this magical phenomenon. So there's like sky fishing and sky netting now, and a lot of sky trade and traffic. And there's skimmers that run over the dark tides. They're like, when the tides go in and out, they move in and out 2, 4, sometimes 10 times further inland. Use daylight to push them back. So the Hand of Air does that. So they have a Sky Marshal. They're super fun. Hand of Flame are the daylighters. They go out and light the lanterns in cities to make sure that the tides don't roll in. And then there's the Inquisitors, and they go hunt down heretics, people who worship the forgotten keepers of the world, which are the other gods of the game. And every keeper gives their power to people by touching them, and they can give up to 13 people magic through themselves. in order to make a new following and hoping to rise back to power and become a god again. So that's all part of it. Lots of crazy shit in here. Lots of crazy shit in here. And then there's the Mechanite orders. The Azure Order, which does electricity. The Crimson Order, who deals with the tides and blood. They like embalm their people, and they put them in like Iron Maiden deep bell diving suits, make bleak knots. Emerald Order deals in fettering and souls specifically, and the Golden Order deals in machinery and like prosthetics and making a Thomas and shit like that. So yeah, there's a ton in here. There's a ton. 4 circles as well. 5 actually. Ash, oak, willow, pine. Then there's unions like steeplejacks and shit like that in the game. These are just placeholders. But anyway, back to what I was going to say. Closing it up for you. Maybe give you a Midwest goodbye. So I will be back this week. Monday we have a guest star because Blake won't be there. He's going to be at Wasteland Weekend. He builds a bunch of the custom cars for the show and stuff like that. So we have someone rejoining us as a guest for Breachers and Shadow Dark. Super pumped for that. And then Tuesday we'll have our second to last game for the season. There's only 13 episodes of ETHUANTIA, and next week is episode 12, and then the finale. And then I will be back on more than likely Wednesday afternoon or Friday, depending on what my schedule is coming up. But I have a bunch of stuff I have going on for me. I will be at Con. I'm running the Terminator game. I'm running my horror-based X-Crawl Classics. I'm printing that stuff out and making that right now. I will be roaming the con one of the days doing Corpse Talk, which is super fun. If you've seen any of those shows, I'll be doing that live with people and interviewing some of my favorite people at the con. And then I think I'm going to bring Warpaint and run a Warpaint up in the Cypher System area. Monty Cook Games sponsors Con in Madison, and they have the whole second floor, and I have been asked to come and run some Warpaint. My Kaiju Super 3077 United States, for the people, by the people, coast to coast, one city. I run some Kaiju combat. So if you're interested in doing that and you're going to be in the Madison area, or you're going to be at Con, hit me up privately. You can join me over in our Discord. I got a bunch of stuff going on as I start getting ready for Living ETHUANTIA again. And of course, I don't have bats on this screen, but I added one up here for you. Just want to point that out. There's a bat. Until next time, everybody, watch, listen, learn, be a better gamer. And don't be Games Workshop. Greedy fucks.